When I was in high school, I always had comfort in the fact that I could go to my teachers if I had questions, whether it was about concepts that maybe were more difficult to me, or about applying for college, applying for scholarships, setting goals for myself. And that was always one of the best things about high school for me. I had that great support system of counselors and peers who truly cared about me, and I truly cared about them. And so preserving that type of relationship with school and my associations with what school is supposed to be, as well as the type of support that I needed, became very important to me when transitioning from college, from high school to college.
Action.
When transitioning from high school to college. And on my way to college, I always had this great fear that I would get there and wouldn't really know anybody, wouldn't know where to go if I was struggling in a class, or kind of just where to go if I had any of the stresses that I expected to have in college, like having a lot of exams at the same time, or not knowing where to go with financial aid questions, and just the peculiar little things that I expected to come up along the way. I actually found, probably even during the first week before the semester started, that I would have mentors in college, students who had been through the exact same or at least similar experiences as the ones that I was going through. And so I had, before school even started, a mentor who happened to be in the same major as mine and could answer any of those questions about where to go if I needed to buy books, or where to return a book if I accidentally brought the wrong one. And then as I continued to transition into college, I saw those types of mentoring relationships develop and go beyond even just my peers. I found that my academic advisor was really there for me as well, beyond just creating a 2-year plan of which classes to take during college and kind of thinking about what to take when I got into my major. He was also there just for the random little calls of, what do I do if I have kind of a class that I want to take, but I don't know if I can take it, and my schedule is becoming very busy. I'm in so many classes, but yet I still need to progress. And so he was there to kind of just answer those calls, the types of questions that you sometimes end up answering yourself while you're asking them. And then from there, I saw that I continued to establish similar relationships with even professors and other advisors. So for example, there was one math class that I really struggled in. And I don't mean struggled as in thought that I wasn't going to get an A in the class. I was understanding the material, but I wasn't really applying it quite as much as I wanted to. So I actually spent a lot of time in office hours. And sometimes there would be a group of students in office hours with the professor asking questions, and other times the professor would actually stay in the office with us past his office hours. That was one of the times when I really started to figure out, like, hey, these people care. They care if I'm successful academically. They want to see me succeed. They've been in my shoes. They're the ones telling me, it's okay not to be perfect in college. It's okay not to be, a 4.0 student all the time. It's more so about what you're learning and how you're applying it. And so that really kind of helped me step outside of my comfort zone a little bit and take even more challenging courses as well, and just challenge myself. And so those are the types of kind of academic support systems that are in place at most universities that I've heard of. And then there are those other types of support systems that are just there for you to explore, right? So I'm in a scholarship program, and through that program I've had a mentor that I've been able to just visit anytime that I have a question. And this is a person that I go to when I have 3 exams on the same day, and I've taken on other responsibilities with different organizations, and it's all just happening all at once, and I just need to kind of sit down and maybe take my mind off of it and just maybe dream about what comes next in my academic career, or maybe just sit around and have goofy jokes that we have in the program or at work. Those people really are there for you. It's up to you to explore those relationships when you get to college. And so I've found that through those mentors, the peer mentors, my professors, my academic advisor, my scholarship advisor, I really did have a support system when I got to college. I had an equivalent support system as the one that I had in high school, if not even better. And so my challenge to all of you is when you get to college, or even before you get to college, email your admissions counselor. Start establishing that relationship so that when you get to college, you already have somebody that you can call or email or just drop in their office and ask them questions. They're there for you. And so it's up to you to really seek that guidance and seek that help when you need it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help and kind of admitting that you may need tutoring or you may need to go to office hours or you just want to challenge yourself by having kind of those intellectual conversations. And so I hope that you do it, and I hope that you have the confidence in yourself to explore all of the things that college really has to offer for you.
When I was in high school, I knew where I was going to go to school, and I already knew that everything was already laid out for me. My dad was a teacher at the university that I was going to attend, and so I didn't really think I had anything that I needed to worry about as far as finances. But once I actually got to college, there were a couple of bumps along the road that I didn't realize that were going to be there before. I was reduced on one of my scholarships, I had to move off campus, and the cost of living in an apartment was a lot higher than I thought it was going to be, and there were all these road bumps that I didn't really know how to overcome. And one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't really look into the scholarship or financial aid opportunities that were available before coming to college. And I think it's important that even if you think that you have everything figured out before you go to college, even if you have a full ride, that you always look at the available scholarships and financial aid opportunities that your university provides. And you can find out a lot of information if you just go to the financial aid office of any institution. They're always more than willing to help you. And it's important that you also looked into whether or not they have any available scholarships or leadership programs that pay you a stipend on your tuition once you're actually in college and not for just incoming freshmen. There's all these sorts of things, and sometimes it can seem overwhelming and confusing, but they're always willing to help if you just say and ask. Sometimes, though, the university that you're applying to doesn't always have a whole lot of scholarship opportunities. And so when you're stuck in that sort of situation, you can always turn to your community for assistance. There are so many different community scholarships, and there are so many different people who are willing to help you pay for college that you don't even realize exist. And so the important thing is to always look around your community, ask some of your neighbors, some of your friends, your teachers, your parents, and you're going to find out a lot more about some of the opportunities that are available in the community that you even knew existed.
Hi there, my name is Luis Arduce. I'm going to be talking about financial aid and the struggles that I had in college trying to find ways to pay for college. When I was going through my college journey, it was definitely a struggle. I applied for 6 colleges when only 4 of them gave me financial aid that was over 60%, and I had 2 colleges that gave me just enough to where I would have to still pay a little bit out of pocket. I decided to go to the University of Louisville because I would only have to pay $1,500 out of pocket each year, which wasn't as much as if I were to go to Bellarmine University. When I came to the university, I tried to find different resources to help me pay for college. So I worked on different jobs, such as like the YMCA. I worked on campus with the library and admissions, and I still had a hard time trying to find money to pay for a lot of the college. One thing that definitely helped me were a few loans that I ended up having to take out. Another thing that helped me along with my journey was the Minority Teacher Recruitment Project. For me to want to become a teacher, they paid for my full tuition, and I would have to work in the city of Louisville for the next 2 years. What ended up happening after that was that I was not able to get into the program. So luckily, as I switched my major to social work, there was another program that ended up paying for my full tuition as well and gave me a job as soon as I graduated. I was very fortunate enough to receive this by just exploring the different options that each program had and was trying to look for different resources that would help me pay for my full tuition. The one thing that's definitely going to help students here in the future is making sure that they talk to their supervisors, talk to their peers, and even talk to their professors about different ways to pay for their college through different financial aid resources.
Well, reflecting on my college experiences, the one thing that always comes to mind is just the importance of having support systems. And when you think of support systems, some things that come to mind is, you know, your advisors or your professors, but it's so much more than that. Sometimes it's a classmate, or it's just a lady that you met when you were just at some event and you took their card. It's just the people that are there to assist you, and there's so many people. Whenever you get into college, whenever you meet these different people, they were all in your shoes, and most of them are more than willing to help. Don't be afraid to ask for a card, you know, to contact them afterwards, to send a follow-up email, because that's how you get internships that turn into paid internships and turn into jobs post-graduation. Fingers crossed for me. Improvement with your resume, just all type of support. It's all out there, and a lot of times it leads to free food on campus, free school supplies at the start of the semester, different leadership positions, and all of those are important to really prepare yourself for after graduation, because you don't know what's going to be in store for you. But having these people being able to vouch for the student that you are, or the speaker that you are, or the writer that you are, or whatever type of assets that you have to bring to the table. You want people that can say, oh, I know so and so, they did good at this, or I've seen them there, or they always took initiative. You want people to be able to speak on not how you are on paper, but also the person that you are, and that's where those support systems come in.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm here to talk to you about starting your college journey. And with any journey, before you start, you have to kind of know where you're going. And then you can begin by choosing an interest or a major. And with choosing a major, it can be a little scary. I myself have had problems choosing a major. I started out as a bio major, and studying biology. It was fun for a while until I started taking a lot of chemistry classes that I didn't really know about, and then of course we had to throw in the math and calculus that I didn't really agree with at all, and kind of went downhill from there. I really didn't like coming to class anymore, and when you don't like doing anything that is important to you or should be important to you, then it can be pretty miserable. But I decided that studying biology wasn't for me. I went to talk with my advisor, my mentors, and try to get an idea of where I really wanted to take this education. And what we came across is that I'm more towards the social sciences. The social sciences appeal more to me and my preferences, and I decided to change my major, which you can do that. Like you don't have to be stuck in this box being miserable your whole life after just one choice. You don't have to be a failure for choosing wrong. If you really like that sociology class that you took, then explore sociology, explore yourself. That's the whole point of a journey. You get to learn about yourself and what you like and what you don't like, and definitely talk to your academic advisors. They can definitely help you figure out what you like and those type of preferences. And you can also go to maybe a career counselor, get an idea of what you would like to do in the future. It's really hard to choose a major when you really don't have an idea of what you want to do for the rest.
Like filling out papers, signing stuff, trying to get scholarships. It wasn't something that I was accustomed to, and I felt like I was done an injustice because I don't think I was given the tools needed to really understand what all was available to me. So one of the reasons why I felt like that just personally was because when my grades started to drop, no one came to see me after school or talk to me about why that may have been the case. It wasn't until I missed a whole bunch of school that they felt the need to say something to me, and we all know that's because schools get paid when students arrive. But anyway, to my point, sometimes when that information isn't given to you, you have to go out and get it for yourself. So ultimately, I graduated out of high school with a 2.8 GPA, and I was so proud of that because I was doing horrible before that, but I had got like a 3.5 my senior year and graduated with a 2.8, only to realize when I got in college that I missed the benchmark of getting a scholarship by this much. So basically, the difference between me graduating college debt-free and the difference between me graduating $40,000 of debt like I am now is that point two that I didn't get in high school that could get me to a 3.0. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because scholarships that you get when you enter college are better than scholarships that you get while you're in college. For instance, at the University of Louisville, we have a continuing undergraduate scholarship that you can get if you have a 3.0 GPA. What this scholarship offers you is $1,500 a year. So that's $750 a semester. But if you come into college with a 3.0 GPA, you can get a Porter Scholarship. A Porter Scholarship is going to cover a portion of your tuition, and it's going to give you a stipend. It's going to cover books and pieces of your rent. I mean, there's no comparison. There's so many different options of things that you can do, and you gotta go out there and you gotta search for it. You know, you gotta be diligent and you gotta be proactive because. You know, and no one could have convinced me of this when I was in high school. But what you graduate with in high school is going to determine like if you're poor or not. Like, if you do good in high school and you can go to college rent free or debt free and you can graduate like that, then you can get straight into your life without having to worry about all that extra. So, there's my piece. So ultimately, what I want you to get out of everything that I've said is this: think about high school as a check. Every point that you get above a 3.0 is essentially adding thousands of dollars that you're going to be able to use to pay off bills and loans that you have. If I could go back, I would. Thinking about the money that I didn't have and how I had to prioritize what I wanted to get, what I couldn't get, what I want to eat, what I couldn't afford to eat. You know, having to work jobs that I wouldn't work, not being able to get involved on campus because you're working every day after school. It can just be a much more fulfilling experience.
One of the biggest obstacles that I had upon entering college was getting used to a different kind of atmosphere. Since preschool, I've been going to private religious schools, and so with that, I'm used to like a smaller school and classroom setting. So one of the ways that I combated that obstacle was by going to office hours. And you know, that's kind of hard to come by when you have a 200 student to teacher ratio in biology classes. You're not really going to have that personal connection with your professor. But going to office hours really helps you stand out from the other students. And in the future, that can help you land a letter of recommendation. And also, it motivates you to keep going to classes because your professor's going to know who you are. They're going to know your name, and you're going to stand out in those classes. Another of the obstacles that I had to deal with was being able to interact with a diverse student population. A lot of the schools that I've been going to had very homogeneous student populations. So in elementary school, I went to a Baptist school, then I went to an Islamic middle school, and I went to an all-girl Catholic high school. So a lot of these populations were really homogeneous. And going to University of Louisville, which is one of the most diverse campuses in Kentucky, was definitely a different kind of atmosphere and something that I had to really transition myself into. And one of the ways that I combated that obstacle was by pushing myself to go to different organizations, and especially pushing myself to join organizations that would put me and make me interact with different student populations and different groups of students that have different backgrounds. And lastly, another obstacle that I had to deal with, and I don't think a lot of students have to deal with this, was really being able to figure out the lines that divide my house and school life. And being a student that lives with my parents and being a first-generation college student and the oldest for my siblings to go to college, my parents were immensely worried, and they would call me almost after every single class. And so, one of the ways that I really, worked to change that was to build a strong network on campus as well. So build a family and on campus. And that led to a lot of leadership and internship opportunities, which forced me to be on campus for longer hours and outside of just classes. So the longer I was away from campus, it actually had an interesting effect because the longer I was away from campus, the more comfortable my parents were with me being away from home. And that really helped me to, build that separate life and just be able to stay home when I needed to and then also be on campus.
So I dealt a lot with being a perfectionist, and so I wanted everything to be in order and structured as I wanted or as it could be. So therefore, I pushed myself to get straight A's and became overwhelmed when I didn't get straight A's. And so that was something that really was something that I had to deal with. Also, in like I said, prioritizing my time. So I oftentimes would go out and do things like party and drink and other extracurriculars, and rather than studying and focusing my time on the things that were most important, which was school. However, eventually, I was able to really find out what it is that I was able to cultivate my study skills and my study habit. So therefore, like, I would create a planner and use that throughout the remainder of the semester, and plan out my classes, my work schedule, my homework assignments, my tests, and different things like that on my planner, and also the extracurricular activities that I wanted to engage in. So therefore, if there was a party coming up, I could decide which one I wanted to go to rather than going to all of them and forgetting, oh yeah, I went to such and such party last week. So also I was able to I had to also realize what I was in school for. So my freshman year, I had a boyfriend, and it was a long-term relationship. My second year, I became really wrapped up in one particular individual, and that carried on into my junior year, which a lot of things started trickling down from there. Now, my schooling wasn't affected. However, my physical and mental health was. Thankfully, I was able to get out of that situation and really find myself and rebuild myself. So my senior year, which is now, I've been completely happy. I've been enjoying life, enjoying the things that really make up a college student and make up a person. So I've been able to find my sexuality. I've been able to define my own sexuality. I'm still cultivating that. I've been able to find great friends, spend time with them, and also I found a great job. I've been able to be mentored by some of the greatest mentors. I've found some of the greatest professors who have taken me under their wings. Also, like, just been taking a lot of self-care and self-help, and catering to myself and doing the things that I like best, and not necessarily doing things or not doing things. So, like, for instance, I'll go out to a party and enjoy it, but I also have to remember that I have to sleep on Sunday mornings, or I have to go to work on Mondays, so I'm not going to stay out on Sunday night as long as I would have. Yeah, so that's basically